Oh, man. Ooh, tired of this shit, man. I'd hug him.
3 reasons Eminem and Benzino actually hate each other. Before Benzino was crying on one of the biggest podcasts in urban culture, talking about how he wants to end his feud with Eminem and hug him, these two rappers were at the beginning points of a feud that would last the next nearly quarter century. 22 years to be exact, that Marshall Mathers and Raymond Scott actually began to hate each other, like for real.
This is the real Eminem and we're tired of it. That's who he is, then he has to be held accountable for that.
The best thing to ever come from the decades-long beef is that today it looks to finally be over. All depending on Eminem's response, of course, because as Benzino said in 2002 when all the beef started,
what he's gonna say now. The ball's is in his court now.
The ball is now in Eminem's court. Benzino emotionally cried for a truce on Drink Champs a few days ago, saying that he's so tired of every interview he does. He's hounded by Eminem questions, as all everyone seems to want to know about his life is what he thinks about the Detroit rapper. He said it's been too long, and he's now too old to be making diss tracks about Eminem, who he actually thinks is a dope rapper. The show's host asked him mid-tears what would he do if Eminem walked into the room, and Benzino's immediate response was that he'd hug Marshall and reiterate that he has no real issue with him, and whatever they had between them this long needs to end, and they both need to just move on.
Got nothing against Eminem that can rap, but I care about us more.
This, of course, is Benzino's perspective and his hopes and wishes, but as we know, there's always two sides to the story, and on Eminem's side, I really don't see him playing nice with a guy that literally tried to end his career in the worst ways possible. Ways much more sinister than the effects of a diss song. Benzino literally held a press conference early in Eminem's career that most certainly could have ended Mathers, and you know what? Maybe it should have. Despite what you may think, Eminem is down a long list of non-black or brown celebrities or artists that has said some foul things about people of color, only to be excused because of his white apologies, black people's need to forgive, and talent, which is the most influential form of magic. If Eminem were Trinidad James in 2002, would have been the last we ever heard of him. Back then, this was Benzino's sole goal in life as it seemed. The leader of the most popular hip-hop magazine at the time, The Source, Benzino had a lot to say in how history is now perceived. He ended up abusing his power when it came to Eminem, and Eminem never forgave him and likely won't forgive him today, despite all the dry tears and snotty tissue paper. What happened? 3 reasons Eminem and Benzino actually hate each other. Let's talk about it. It's your boy JC, Stunted Growth Music. Take a minute to like, subscribe, and comment on who I should do next. In 2001, Benzino, a rapper from Roxbury, Boston, released his debut solo album that peaked at 84 on the Billboard 200. This came years after his initial push to become a rapper way back in 1986, letting you know how much Benzino wanted to be a part of a culture he's seen born and grow. Initially, he was in the group Almighty RSO under the name Ray Dog. ARSO released their first singles back in '86 that led to the group being signed to Tommy Boy Records in 1991. They were released from Tommy Boy in 1992 because of their One in the Chamber song that advocated self-defense against the police. A song that sparked outrage and protest by law enforcement, forcing the label's hand. Benzino went solo and dropped his first album, like mentioned, in 2001. I say this to help you understand some of what Benzino went through before solo fame to get where by 2001, Eminem was already quadruple times that. By then, M had dropped 3 albums, the second sold 5 million and the third went diamond, selling over 25 million worldwide. His first of back-to-back diamond albums. Benzino resented Eminem's immediate star power and took first strikes at him to start the beef. Reason number 1, 5 mics, hard to come by. In 2002, Benzino and David Mays were co-owners of The Source magazine, a publication started to give hip-hop and rappers specifically some added shine in a time where magazines and newspapers were like the only forms of informative media other than radio and television. The Source grew to be the most important and interesting because it had a rating system that made it popular with rap culture as the only magazine that held rappers accountable and graded their work. It was like the hip-hop Bible back in the day. Getting a 5 mic rating was legendary and meant the world to rappers. While Benzino mainly used the pages to promote himself as a rapper and rappers he liked, he also used his ability and influence at the publication to in any way discredit Eminem. It's unclear his real reason for hating Eminem, but when it came time for The Source to rate Eminem's Eminem Show album, they greatly underrated it, giving it a 4 out of 5 when everyone knew that album would definitely receive a 5 mic rating. The album is regarded as one of Eminem's best albums by many and went diamond. This came after underrating his Marshall Mathers LP as well. The Source, though, didn't start off taking shots at Eminem. They can actually be credited for giving M the boost that got Dr. Dre to listen to his demo and sign him when no other label would. Dre signed him because of Eminem being praised as unsigned hype in The Source magazine that he read one day on the airplane. The magazine upped the final rating to 4.5 to troll Marshall after his fans went full uproar mode in protest for Eminem. Benzino later admitted to stopping M from getting a perfect score because he didn't like Eminem for being disrespectful, while M says it was because he's white. Eminem, of course, has hated the magazine and Benzino ever since. It led to diss records back and forth, igniting a lifetime feud. Reason number 2, attempting to cancel M. When the diss songs didn't work, Benzino brought out the big guns in 2003, which in my opinion is what really made Eminem likely never to forgive Benzino. Fans knew the two didn't like each other, and according to Benzino himself, a few white fans actually submitted one of Eminem's old songs called Foolish Pride to The Source magazine, a song that stained Eminem's career forever. One he dissed black girls in, saying all sorts of distasteful things about them, like how they're dumb and ugly, and how he would never date one, while praising white women for being the opposite, equipped with racial slurs and all. The Source printed the lyrics and called a national press conference with all media invited, not just hip-hop, and handed them to everyone in attendance to read while they played the song. Interjecting was Benzino, who urged everyone to stop listening to Eminem because he was obviously a racist and stealing from black culture when he never liked black people. To this day, it's the strongest shot Eminem has taken in his career, as some fans still haven't forgiven him. Eminem attempted to apologize for the song, saying he made it out of frustration and was sorry for whom it may have hurt, making it clear that he wasn't a racist. It cleared the air, but like the Drake Meek Mill ghostwriting scandal will never truly be erased. Eminem has hated Benzino ever since. He could have lost his entire career after that knockout swing that was a bit before its time. Benzino releases that today in this culture and Eminem's career is cooked. Reason number 3, Eminem's success. Ultimately, Benzino hates Eminem because Eminem to him is everything wrong with the entertainment industry and society in general. He's always felt since back in the day that Eminem is graded on a curve because he's a white rapper and given too much credit for something created by black people that Eminem just participates in. To Benzino, Eminem was the industry's attempt to whitewash hip-hop like he feels they do everything created by the minority. In today's terms, he'd call Eminem an industry plant. It's made him resent Eminem's success, but on the flip side, Eminem is actually really talented and has put in the work for that success, loved by many, black, white, or whatever. Despite the racist things he said in the past, the majority of hip-hop fans still give Eminem his just due, and that too makes Benzino salty. Because Eminem continued to grow over the years, whenever Benzino is interviewed or in the public eye, he has to face questions and sometimes entire interviews surrounding his relationship with Eminem. His career itself never took off like he hoped, so there isn't much to talk about other than to ask him about his beef with Marshall. It's like Eminem's success made him out the reach of Benzino's shots, but always present in Benzino's life because M continues to diss him, and younger fans only know him and want to know him because of Eminem's tongue lashings. No matter what, he can't escape Marshall. Let's not forget, Benzino lost his job at The Source magazine because of his non-stop feud with Eminem way back in the day. He wouldn't stop discrediting Eminem, and taking shots at him meant taking shots at Interscope Records as well, who used their industry power to threaten to crush The Source magazine if they didn't fire Benzino. As an executive decision, they decided to let him go in the form of his resignation to save face. All in all, Benzino has obviously had enough. Does this mean Eminem won the war? In rap culture? Yeah, man. Under no circumstance do you go on TV crying about the effects of beef with another rapper, wanting to kiss and hug him and But on the other hand, I understand how hard it must be to have an artist not only the caliber MC, but the popularity of Eminem make fun of things like your short body and arms, having no neck, gay rumors of recent. It must be a lot to deal with. At this point, only Eminem can stop this, but because of everything mentioned, that day may never come. Salute, much respect to both sides, but for these reasons, Eminem and Benzino actually hate each other. It's your boy JC Stunted Growth Music, and I'm out.